Welcome to We Are Crafted in His Image. Today we are working on the last project in our Snailed It Cocoa and Crafts class, and it is this cute little card. And I have to say, I cased this from another card that I saw online, very similar, just changed up a few things, but I really liked the whole double opening kind of a card like that. I just thought that was really fun. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this project today. So in your kit, we have the card base, and let's see, envelopes. Of course, one envelope has our little pieces and parts in it, so I'm going to pull this over. Now you're going to find you have some scrap pieces like this in your kit because we're going to have to do some fussy cutting. So there are a few things in there. There are lots of little parts. I think there are 6 of them, so 3 for each card. Let me set this aside. Thankfully the fussy cutting though is super easy to do. So let's get started with our stamping. And so we won't need this. We will need the scraps, and we're going to need the inside, and we're going to need these 2 red strips as well. I think that's all of the stamping. So if you remember correctly, last week I cut my stamp, the one that says "You've Got Mail," and I'm going to go ahead, whoops, it went flying off my finger, and mount them both. Will they fit on here? I got a bigger one just in case. Onto a block. Go ahead and stick this back where it was. There we go. So I'll need that one. I'll also need the little heart. And the Happy Mail enclosed stamp. I think those are the only stamps we need for this one. Yep. So we'll put this on a block, turn it over. Okay. This is the one that we're going to stamp on the scrap pieces, whatever your shape looks like. Let me grab my Memento ink, get it out of here, and we're gonna stamp this one twice. Actually, we're gonna stamp it 4 times, but I'll show you. Let me do 1, 2, and for the last 2 you only need the little envelope. So if you feel the need to, if you don't have enough space to get 2 full ones, I'm gonna just stamp it this way. And then actually, because that one didn't come out really well, I think I'll re-stamp it. Oh, that's much better. One more. Ta-da! Okay, so that is done. My crafty space is a bit of a mess around me. I was working on thank you gifts for all of my customers over this last Stampin' Up! Year, and so I have stuff like everywhere. Yeah, it's kind of a mess. So I just cleared a little space around to work for today. Let me move this out of our way. And I'm going to go and do the rest of the stamping while I have my ink pad out. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. Sometimes I find it's easier to, sometimes I ink it this direction, sometimes I do this way. It just really depends on how I'm feeling, I guess. And this one just goes in the bottom left corner. I find that when you have something with an image with a face, it looks best, for me anyway, if it's facing into the project rather than off the project. So rather than putting the snail here where he's looking off the card, I'm putting him on this side. Plus he also gets hidden. If he were stamped here, you would see him when the card is closed. So we're going to stamp him again on this piece. There we go. Go ahead and clean this off real quick. And then our little heart, we're going to stamp like 4 of them across this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you know what, on this one, I'm going to purposely make them not match up height-wise. What's the word I'm looking for? Horizontally. So they kind of go up and down rather than straight across, because this one I'm not straight across very well, and it's obvious. This one makes it look like you were supposed to do that way. So this one I'm actually going to redo. I'm going to try to keep it straighter this time. Sorry if my head gets in the way. That's better, I think. I think I like that one better though. Anyway, so there is that. And then I don't know what to do on the envelope. Actually, yes I do. I'm just going to do some hearts on the envelope. So let me move these out of the way, grab my envelope really quick. I actually didn't do the envelopes in my sample, so I'm going to do a cluster of 3. No, just 2. I think 2 looks great. Just like that. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, so hearts, I think we're done with our ink now. And I'm just going to do a little bit of coloring. I'm just going to color my envelopes on here, just to show you how, even though they're white, you can give them a little bit of shading to make them show up a little better. And I'm actually going to do brown on this one because our envelope on here is brown. So I'm just going to color a little, very lightly, in one corner, a little bit across the top of the flap, and actually you should have it darker under the flap because that's where a shadow would be. Do the same thing here, a little bit under the flap, maybe a little at the bottom, and this one I think I'll put a little across the top rather than the bottom of the flap there. Okay, and then you could do the same on this as well, although most of this gets tucked inside the envelope and you really don't see it. A little bit of color on there. And then once I'm done doing this, I'll go in with the blender pen and we'll just blend that color onto the envelope. Just create some shadows. There we go. Super easy, but it does give it a little bit of depth, so it's not quite so flat looking. All right, now we're just going to grab some paper snips, and on these two, like I said, we just need the envelope. So I'm just going to fussy cut around the envelope here. I leave a little bit of a white border on mine, but you can cut it straight to the black if you want. In fact, on one of them, I think I will cut on the black and not leave a border. Whoop, whoop. I get so quiet when I'm cutting, I'm sorry. Focused. There we go. So we have 2 little envelopes there. And then on this one here, you're just going to cut right outside that dotted line. Let's cut this one. And you could use your paper trimmer for this if you want, but it's such a small piece, it's just easier for me to grab the scissors, grab the paper snips. And one more, and we're done with this. Okay, guess what? Time to assemble already. That was pretty quick. So, your card base, you will notice when you fold it that one side is shorter than the other. And that is obviously going to be the front of our card. And then this one gets on here. Okay, and then you'll notice that you have 2 strips here, and these actually were the piece that I cut off of the front of the card base, and then I scored a line just at 1/2 inch in on there. So I just cut that piece off. How big is this? 1 1/4 inch, and then scored at a 1/2 inch. And we're going to, I'm actually going to glue it to this piece first. Let me get all this other stuff out of the way. Move our envelopes. Okay, move that piece. Where'd the other red one go? I think I already got it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is actually glue. Let's adhere. I'm going to go ahead and fold on my little line there. Put a little adhesive on that side. Fold on this line, do the same. It's easier here. And then, let's see, how far up did I go? About 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to just set this 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom, and then just set this on there. And that's lined up where I want it. Do the same thing on this one. 3/4 of an inch up. Lay this in the corner. Whoops, don't wiggle on me. I want to make sure you're straight. It's one of the reasons I love this grid paper. It makes measuring things so simple. Okay, then I'm going to flip it over. And now we're going to put adhesive on the back. Go right over top of that flap. We'll make sure that flap stays on there nice and tight. There's one. Sticking to my opening here. 2. I knew you were going to do that. There we go. Okay, and then this just gets centered inside the card base. There we go. That's going to fold over nice. There's that. Okay, so now we'll do our other one. And I'm not going to color my snail today. I will color him in. And you'll know if I color him in because he'll be colored in the photo for the video. Okay, so there's that. Here's this one. So now let's go ahead and bring back our little tray with all of our embellishments. And we know this piece is going to go right there. So we'll go ahead and glue that on there. Oh, which side do I like better? I like that side better. So this side's going to get adhesive on it. And adhesive on there. Whoops, I got some on my paper, my grid paper. And then center, make sure you are on the far left, or far right, sorry, and centered top and bottom, but it is not going to go all the way to the edge of this. That part's going to be covered up, so I didn't cut them to go all the way over. There we go. There's one. And number 2. I think I'm getting it very straight. There we go. Okay. Now let's go ahead and put our envelope together. And if you remember last time, the one with the longer edge right here is the bottom of your envelope. So you're going to fold, fold, and then this piece comes up. All right, and then we need to glue that down. I'm going to use glue dots for mine. Fold, fold, and fold. Grab my bone folder here and give it a good burnish. There we go. Grab my glue dots. I still haven't opened up a regular thing of glue dots yet. Where's my pokey tool? There it is. I'll try using the spatula today. I'm not great with the spatula. Let's see, we need a dot here. And then we need a dot here. And I think I mentioned before, when you buy the glue dots through Stampin' Up, they don't come like this. They come on a roll. I just haven't opened a new roll yet, and these are leftover glue dots from my paper pumpkin kits that I get each month. And there's usually plenty of leftover glue dots in there, so I'm going to use them. Okay, get that glue dot on there. These are a lot harder to use though than the ones on the roll, because rolls you just touch it and there it goes. Alright, stay. There's that. Get my little papers out of the way. So our envelopes are ready. They're going to get glued pretty much straight on the end of that flap right there. So you can put some adhesive on the back of your envelope. You are so sticky today. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to stick that, and really I just have it right up against this edge and this edge. There we go. 1 and 2. Okay, and then you have these 2 squares, and I'm going to put these on next. So put some adhesive. And then what I did was I just kind of put it a little bit cattywampus. Does that make sense? Kind of about like that. However it looks good to you, really. And then same thing here. Just kind of eyeballing that it looks nice. And then set it down. Okay, then this little piece goes inside our envelope, a little bit on an angle, opposite angle to what this is. And you can have it sticking out as far or as little as you want, like that. So put a little bit of adhesive. Don't put any adhesive on the top part. You want to make sure you keep it down here towards the bottom. And then just take this, set it inside there, and push down. Oh, come here. Set it inside, push down. There we go. Okay, and then our last little embellishments are envelopes and hearts. And you can decide if you want them flat or if you want to pop them up with dimensionals. I think I'm going to... on my original I had them all flat. There's no dimensionals on this one. But I think I might pop this one up on this one. Let's do that. Dimensional. Just grab one. And I think right there looks good. And then my other 3, what I'm going to do is just move these slightly out of the way and just put a dot of our 2-way glue pen, our green glue. I don't know what to call it. And then stick my hearts on there. There we go. So that one's done. That one's done. I think on this one I'm going to do the opposite. I think I'm going to glue down the envelope and pop up my hearts. So let me turn my hearts over here and put a little bit of glue where my envelope's going to go. I do prefer to put the glue on the background if at all possible, because then I don't get my fingers all sticky picking up the little teeny tiny piece. But sometimes that's not possible, and then you might need to get out a pair of tweezers or something just to keep your hands from getting yucky. And then I'm going to use some mini glue dot or mini dimensionals for my little hearts. There we go. This one does not want to stay flat. Burnish. Get that down there. Oops, let's try to do that without messing up my envelope. There we go. See the difference now? It's going to stay down because I burnished that. I gave it a good push. There we go. Okay. So let's put our little bit of hearts. Little bitty baby hearts. And one here. I think I've mentioned this before, but putting little scattered embellishments on a card is like the hardest thing for me to figure out where to put them. And since I really like the placement of the very first one, I'm just going to stick with it. There we go. So, guess what? Other than coloring, which I still need to do, I'm going to color my little hearts here and color my little snail inside. But this card is finished. I hope you enjoyed it. We are going to take a little bit of a break in the month of May, simply because we have a new catalog coming out and various other things going on. But I hope to be back with a Coco and Crafts class for June. And I'll be back before that with some other projects just to highlight some things I've been working on. So until the next time I see you, God's love and blessings to you, and you have a super awesome week. Bye!